later on, towards my latter teen years, in my 20s, I had an experience at an apartment I lived at, and I started doing EVPs back there when I was about 19, 20 years old. So it just kind of evolved from there, and, thus sparking my interest. And, I guess I never looked back. I just like creepy old houses, But, it's, and now here we are, my God, 25 years later, and, the group name, the Gettysburg Ghost Scouts, has gotten bigger over the last year, but, we've had, Michelle had Snow Family Paranormal years ago. I had the Paranormal Investigators with Chris, who's in our group now, and, and it just kind of evolved after we moved here, and we became primarily a female paranormal group, and, we study a lot up on the battlefield. We're doing new investigations of the battlefield now in order to prepare for our next book, which is going to be True Hauntings of a Ghost Town Edition 2, which is going to be about actual spots on the battlefield, which are we investigate repetitively, compare our evidence, the light and the dark way that we do it, and we're going to write a bunch of different chapters on a bunch of different spots, so investigators can see real evidence, hear real evidence by going to our website, see pictures, and, unlike, they're true stories, they're true cases versus, ghost stories or folklore that's told in the local area. So, and our first book was about our real cases, some of our real paranormal cases from the surrounding area, to let people know that, hey, just because it's Gettysburg and it's a Civil War town, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing going on here, that there are other cases and there are other things going on. One of which I actually wrote about in the book was the serious attachment that a client had. So, things like that. So, we're having a lot of fun doing what we're doing,
So what brought you girls to decide, hey, why don't we put our experiences into a book? And, I mean, that's a whole new different path for you girls. What made you decide to go ahead and do that?
I would say, honestly, it was just kind of the next step.
I was just going to say that. It just felt like it was the next step, because we were... like Bridget was saying, everyone knows Gettysburg for the war, of course, and for seeing Civil War apparitions and things like that. But we're really finding a lot of hauntings in homes and places of business, and we felt that it would just bring more credibility maybe to the town and the area, because, people start really, the people are making some stuff up and just to make it a little more exciting to come into town, but you really don't need to do that because it's there. So the book just seemed like the next step.
And it's just, with the, we're doing lecturing at conferences, whenever we can get out. Michelle works for Haunted Gettysburg Tours. Jen works for the Farnsworth House. Heather grew up here. I do all the research on the battlefield and a lot of in-depth history on the battlefield. So it just it sort of evolved. And then, I mean, my God, once they announced in January the female Ghostbusters, oh, my God, it's, it's nuts. And our management's been fielding calls for us with TV shows and things like that. So, we've got some stuff in the works, and we're real excited. It's really a great time, and like I said, to sit here and talk about the battlefield, to live it every day, to talk about the cases, and we've decided to turn that into a series where we may go up and do Salem next, True Hauntings of a Ghost Town, True Salem Stories, Salem Cases we investigate, or who knows, Tombstone, Arizona, or, just different ghost towns around the United States, and put real cases and real experienced subject matter. And the other thing, too, that we like to do, we like to have multiple witnesses to the case, multiple witnesses, evidence up on the website, photographs, so people know that, hey, these aren't just, a bunch of girls telling stories. We have credibility to back up all of our story and numerous witnesses. So, that's also the other part of it.
Are you there?
Yep.
Where'd they go?
I don't know. We're probably still on air, though. So, Michelle, what can people expect on your tour this evening?
Well, it's not any witches hung on the bridge. And it's not a creepy tree that you touch when bad things happen.
I'm serious. We're probably still on air. Somebody
sure
write.
We are.
Did you girls miss us?
Oh, there they are.
We totally jinxed it.
I do have to say, I love that you girls kept going with the interview. That was awesome. I'm sitting here going, they're still talking.
I told you guys, I am the biggest. I swear to God, I'm one of those Murphy's Law people, and I've got that little cloud that just, even though I'm a really, happy, outgoing person, I've got this black cloud that's over me constantly.
It is all you.
I figured, what the hell? Ask her about her tour, Hey.
Well, as soon as our end went dead, I was like, I threw on the headphones to see if it was still on over the air. And I'm hearing you still talking. I'm like, she's still going.
There was a little dead air at first, and I go, hello, and then Bridget was still there, so we just kept it going.
I like that. What do you expect on your end? I was like, that's good.
It's got to be that attachment. It's following me around still.
I couldn't have one myself.
So I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
No problem.
We take it in stride.
So if I ask you a question that Cherry talked about, sorry.
Not a problem.
With Gettysburg, I know it's pretty much known as the #1 most haunted spot in the country. This is what I've been heard. Do you girls think, or you ladies, think that that there's more intelligent energy there?
My opinion on the battlefield, a majority of, I would say, residual houses, historical locations. There's a combination of both, but more times than not, you can have a large majority of intelligent hauntings. Like I said, in the book, we actually, and I don't call it a spirit, I call it an entity. I'd rather call it something else, but I don't have a 100% proof of that, so I don't. But we actually had a case where it was an attachment to a client, and I was always nothing comes home with you. I kind of made fun of it because I'm on the dark part of the team. Michelle's the light, which is more spiritual ways, and the dark side is more scientific ways. And, I would always joke about spirits following you home. Well, yeah, I joked about it until it happened to me, and I was attacked.
Yeah, it literally came back to bite her in the ass.
Yep. I was attached for over a 2 to 3 month period in my own home, and my family witnessed it. My friends documented the scratches. I mean, it was absolutely crazy, and that happened here in Gettysburg. So, but I would say I don't know if Michelle agrees with me, but definitely on the battlefield, I would say that the majority, in my opinion, would be residual. Definitely.
I agree, especially when you hear all the what people are experiencing. It's definitely more of a residual. I will say that when we do, I work for Haunted Gettysburg Tours. We go down to the bridge here, and we actually get in contact with not just soldiers. The other night, I had the guy's family member come in contact. So, there's more here than what people think is going on. But as far as the battlefield and a lot of like the historic places, it's more of a residual, definitely.
Michelle, there weren't any haunting death trees during your tour, were there?
No trees woke up and started grabbing people or doing anything bad, and no witches were hung, and we were safe.
Michelle and I are joking because someone was telling a story about how witches were actually hung on Saxbridge, and that is so not true. And it's just kind of a little thing we joke about. Actually, there were a lot of people believe that there were 3 Confederate soldiers hung on the bridge, which is also folklore. The possibility in Gettysburg, a slight possibility it couldn't happen, but they kept very good records during the Battle of Gettysburg. And if there were 3 deserters or if men were found guilty for something, it would have been written down in a journal. And as you can go online, you can look extensively at any one of the general or the lieutenant's journal entries on Wikipedia, and there was never any mention of it. So that's a big thing. There were a lot of people that actually, as Michelle could even tell you, that died at Saxbridge because there was a skirmish there. There was a hospital there, and they were buried right on the banks of Marsh Creek.
Right. So, and some of the wounded soldiers drowned there because there was a heavy torrential rains, and the wounded soldiers were laying there waiting to be helped, and they drowned from the creek rising. So, there was a lot of deaths over there. Mm-hmm.
So you girls obviously are from that area, but you've also investigated a ton of other well-known places. Would you agree with the assessment that Gettysburg is the number 1 most haunted location, or is there another place that you think probably could? Yeah.
Well, I think as a whole, as a town, as an area, because it you can just feel it. It's all around you here. But that's not taking anything away, of course, from any other locales that have any tragedy attached to them. And, I've been to places. And again, I also find that Gettysburg, like any other haunted location, sometimes you're going to get something and sometimes you're not.
You're not. Yep.
So, people can come thinking, wow, we're going to definitely see something, and no, you're not. So it works. It does work the same as anywhere else. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not.
Telling me in Gettysburg they're not on command either?
As a matter of fact, we're excited because we're going back to one of our favorite haunted locations. Not this weekend, next weekend. It's another ideal event. we're going back to Ohio State Reformatory, and we love Scott Stuckel and the crew over there.
Yes,
and,
they're awesome there.